Bonjour à tous. Welcome everyone. Au nom de la Société royale du Canada, je tiens à féliciter tous les nouveaux membres élus du Collège pour leurs contributions remarquables à leurs disciplines respectives. Nous sommes honorés de célébrer l'importance des contributions qu'ils ont apportées à notre pays. Please join me in welcoming this year's members of the 2025 cohort of the College of the New Scholars. Honorables invités, chers collègues, ladies and gentlemen, bienvenue à la présentation des membres du Collège de la Société royale du Canada. Welcome to the presentation of the new members of the College of New Scholars, Artists and Scientists of the Royal Society of Canada. Avant de commencer, nous souhaitons reconnaître que l'Université de Montréal est située en territoire autochtone non cédé par voie de traité et de saluer celles et ceux qui, depuis des temps immémoriaux, en ont été les gardiens traditionnels. Nous exprimons notre respect pour la contribution des peuples autochtones à la culture des sociétés ici et partout dans le monde. My name is Audrey Moores and I'm a professor of chemistry at McGill University and I'm also the president of the college. Je suis accompagnée aujourd'hui pour vous souhaiter la bienvenue par ma collègue et amie, la professeure Isabelle Archambault, de l'Université de Montréal, qui est la secrétaire du collège. We, along with the 8 other members of the College Council and the wider college membership, want to congratulate you on your election. You should be proud of what you've accomplished in your careers. We are delighted to have this morning a special guest with us, Dr. Joy Johnson, President and Vice Chancellor of Simon Fraser University. I invite you now to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Audrey, and thank you also for the land acknowledgement. And I want to say hello to everyone. It's wonderful to be with you today. And I really do want to congratulate the incoming cohort of the RSC College of New Scholars, Artists, and Scientists. And I want to say a special welcome to the family and friends who are joining us this morning. As Audrey mentioned, I'm the president of Simon Fraser University, and at SFU, we really are striving to advance an inclusive and sustainable future for everyone. We're proud that we were able to host last year's celebration of excellence and engagement, and we're really honored to be part of this year's celebration as well. As a fellow of the Royal Society myself, I know how exciting it is to be inducted. And I hope each one of our inductees will feel an incredible sense of pride and accomplishment today. Our inductees really do represent the emerging generation of scholarly, scientific, and artistic leadership in Canada. And I have to say, it's a time when we really do need this leadership. I think we can all recognize that this is a fraught time for our society, and perhaps it feels like a fraught time to have chosen a career in academia. Across the board, we are seeing a rise in misinformation, a loss of trust, and a loss of confidence in evidence in general. But I have to say, being at the celebration of excellence, being in a room with so many wonderful scholars gives me optimism for the future. From medicine to law to physics to the humanities and everything in between, our new scholars are building a better future for Canadians. And through their research, their artistic expressions, their teaching, and their work, they are making a difference. So for all of you, I want to say thank you for being here. We look forward to celebrating our new scholars. I want to say in particular, I'm excited to be celebrating SFU's own inductees, Professor Cora DeBeck, whose research addresses the urgent issue of unregulated drug toxicity, Professor T.J. Salway, whose research works to improve the health and well-being of the 2S LGBTQ+ population by addressing health disparities and leading inclusive solutions, and Professor Tamara Soma, a food systems scholar and practitioner who integrates sustainability, climate resilience, and equity into land use, planning, and policy. I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate SFU Computing Science Professor J.C. Liu, who's going to be inducted as a fellow. And of course, our mathematics professor, Ben Addock, who received an award this morning, the RSC's 2025 John Elsinge Award for Outstanding Research in Mathematical Sciences. I am so very proud of our scholars, but I have to say I'm so proud of our Canadian academic community in general. I feel lucky to be a part of it. And so once again, my congratulations to the College of New Scholars, Artists and Scientists. I wish them well. And once again, thanks everyone for joining us this morning.
So we would now like to introduce you to the new cohort of the members of the College of the Royal Society of Canada. Nous sommes maintenant rendus à la prestation de l'affirmation de la société. We're now going to have the affirmation words from the society. So I'm going to ask the members to stand up and repeat after me the affirmation sentences. I will read it in English and then in French in sections, and I will ask you to repeat after me, okay? So we have now reached the point, I do thereby promise that I will endeavor to promote the good of the Royal Society of Canada and to pursue the ends for which the Society was founded. That will be present at the meetings of the Society as often as I conveniently can. And that I will observe the bylaws and regulations of the Society. Maintenant en français. Donc, par la présente, je promets que je m'efforcerai de promouvoir le bien de la Société royale du Canada et de poursuivre les objectifs pour lesquels la Société a été fondée. Que je serai présent aux réunions de la Société aussi souvent que cela me sera possible. Et que je respecterai les règles et les statuts de la Société. Now, Isabelle.
So you can sit down. Thank you. Donc, bonjour à tous et à toutes. Mon nom est Isabelle Archambault. Je suis secrétaire du collège et il me fait un immense plaisir de vous accueillir aujourd'hui pour vous accompagner à titre de nouveaux membres du collège. Sachez que vos candidatures ont été triées sur le volet, vous qui avez été sélectionnés pour votre excellence académique, scientifique et artistique. But beyond the symbolic honor of joining the college, you will also become part of something larger than yourselves. I encourage all of you to become involved in our activities, conversation, committee work, and to take full advantage of the full 7 years that you will be with us at the college. These are great occasions to learn, to contribute, and to connect to a network of smart, dynamic, and engaged researchers.
We are delighted to have 56 college members to present this morning. Today we are celebrating and welcoming you, an outstanding group of scholars, artists, and scientists whose expertise span a wide range of fields and who represent universities and organizations from coast to coast to coast. Plusieurs d'entre vous le savent, le collège a été fondé en 2014, dans le but de créer une organisation pan-canadienne regroupant les meilleurs chercheurs, artistes et scientifiques du pays en début ou en milieu de carrière, sans aucune barrière disciplinaire. The college was designed to provide unlimited opportunities to think creatively about how the humanities, social sciences, arts come together to confront some of our most urgent challenges at the global scale. As a member of the College Council, I have had the opportunity to see how the college has been working to fulfill this mandate and how it continues to make its mark on the RSC throughout our own projects, as well as direct involvement with RSC committees. We do this through public engagement activities, including the work of the task force on knowledge system resilience, international activity related to the G7, the G20 statements, our involvement with the International Science Council as well as bilateral partnership with other young academies. We're developing a program to support our academic colleagues as well, who are unfortunately displaced to Canada due to war, conflict, or threats against the person. This program's name is ARDA, and you are going to hear about it as we need the involvement of as many of you in this cohort. As stated in the new RSC strategic plan that will be released tomorrow at the AGM, the foundational goals of the society are recognizing inclusive excellence, strengthening Canadian society through the democratization of knowledge, and engaging our membership in communities at the local level, the national level, and the global level. This cohort, your cohort, is the 12th cohort since 2014, and we look forward to your contribution. This year also marks the graduation of our 4th cohort, those who started the college in 2018. And at this moment, I would also like to say goodbye to them as college members and welcome them as alumni. So je voudrais juste dire un petit bye-bye à nos collègues qui nous quittent de la cohorte de 2018 et leur souhaiter bon courage et les accueillir comme des membres alumni de notre association. The college seeks excellence as demonstrated through academic, creative, and intellectual production, as well as the ability to speak beyond disciplines through community engagement. We are committed to inclusive excellence to ensure that we, the college, represents the best Canadian research and practice. We're dedicated to equity, diversity, and inclusion, and as the next generation of university leaders in the country, and indeed a number of us already are university leaders, we have the responsibility to continue to lead by example. Donc vraiment pour moi, c'est très important de réitérer l'importance pour la Société royale du Canada et en particulier le Collège de rester interdisciplinaire, d'être inclusif et de continuer d'imprimer sa marque dans le Canada et au-delà.
Nous avons la chance cette année d'avoir une très, très, très belle cohorte, une cohorte qui est équilibrée en termes d'expertise et d'engagement. La nouvelle cohorte compte 56 membres qui proviennent de 31 institutions réparties à travers l'ensemble des régions du pays. Nous avons 24 membres qui proviennent de l'Ontario, 11 membres qui proviennent du Québec, 9 des Prairies, 7 de la Colombie-Britannique, 3 des provinces atlantiques et 2 personnes qui viennent de l'étranger. As with other years, we continue our tradition of the domino introduction of the new college members. We have invited each new member to prepare an introduction for another new member of the college. And we have asked each member to present a link between their research and the research of the person they are introducing. En prenant le temps de découvrir un autre membre, travaillant souvent vraiment aux antipodes de nos propres intérêts, nous visons à ce que chacun et chacune d'entre vous en vienne à développer une certaine curiosité par rapport à ce que l'autre peut faire. Nous souhaitons par le fait même établir un début de dialogue interdisciplinaire et un mouvement vers l'inclusion. Donc, nous allons commencer le fameux domino.
Thank you so much, Isabelle. So let's get started. We will start by the introduction of Anesh Prasad. Anesh Prasad is a Canadian social scientist and a chair in leadership and organizational effectiveness at Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico City, Mexico. Il est chercheur de renommée internationale dans le domaine de l'équité, de la diversité et de l'inclusion. C'est vraiment très à propos pour la Société royale. Au sein des organisations, et il travaille à défaire les inégalités culturelles institutionnalisées et aussi à faire des organisations qui peuvent construire des espaces plus inclusifs. I feel really privileged to introduce you, Prasad, because in my research I tried to overlay equity, diversity and inclusion within my work in green chemistry.
Thank you. It is my privilege to present Isabelle Ben-Korian. Her watershed work has illuminated the importance of prenatal screening to prevent infection in infants. Her research has made significant impact to practice. Indeed, her work on infectious diseases has been used to inform clinical recommendations and structuring initiatives. Although I'm not a medical scientist, the ways in which Dr. Ben-Korian has leveraged her research to make inroads with practice shares much affinity with my own.
Malheureusement, Isabelle Boucoiron ne pouvait pas être avec nous aujourd'hui, donc je vais lire la présentation qu'elle a faite de Marie-France Marin. Marie-France Marin explore comment nos hormones, nos pensées, notre environnement interagissent pour façonner notre réponse au stress et à la peur. Ces recherches révèlent pourquoi certaines personnes développent des troubles anxieux et des niveaux élevés de stress, alors que d'autres savent s'y adapter. She helps us understand what makes a memory a burden or a source of strength. Marie-France Marin, félicitations. Merci.
Il me fait plaisir de vous présenter Lee Watai, professeur au département d'immunologie et de biologie cellulaire de l'Université de Sherbrooke et directeur de la recherche sur le cancer au centre de recherche du CHU-S. Dr. Tai is committed to meeting the challenges of treating refractory cancers. M'intéressant moi-même à la santé mentale suite à l'annonce d'un diagnostic de cancer, je suis ravie que les travaux de Dr. Tai donnent aux patients la possibilité d'espérer de meilleurs résultats thérapeutiques.
It is my honor to present Dr. Stephanie von Hladky. Dr. Hladky is the Canada Research Chair in Gender, Security, and the Armed Forces, full professor, and fellow of the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation. Her leadership on gender equality in defense has influenced policy innovation within the Canadian Armed Forces and NATO, including through her book, Deploying Feminism, currently in its second edition in 2025. Son travail démontre comment l'équité et l'inclusion renforcent la sécurité nationale au Canada, et puis ces mêmes principes guident aussi nos efforts pour faire progresser la recherche en cancer et les soins en oncologie partout au Canada.
Merci.
Tamara Soma's research focuses on the healing power of food and on the importance of adapting food system planning to prevent waste. Dr. Soma challenges the commodification of food and proposes an alternative approach in her CBC GEM documentary, Food is My Teacher. Comme elle, mes recherches ont un impact direct sur l'élaboration des politiques et reflètent un engagement plus large à la mobilisation des connaissances en milieu de pratique.
Greetings of peace, assalamu alaikum, salutation d'amour to all my relations. So what happens when you go to a cafe and mix food, feminism, cyber activism, queer history, and research on outer space? Well, you will get our next scholar, Dr. Alex Ketchum. Dr. Ketchum is an associate professor at McGill University's Institute for Gender, Sexuality, and Feminist Studies, and is the director of the Just Feminist Tech and Scholarship Lab. She is the author of many award-winning books, including Ingredients for Revolution, A History of American Feminist Restaurants, Cafes, and Coffee Houses. On se retrouve à café?
I have the pleasure of introducing Alan Downey. Alan Downey est de Kath Nakuzuli-Wuwetan et titulaire de la chaire de recherche du Canada en histoire autochtone, nation et autodétermination, an associate professor in the Department of History and Indigenous Studies Department at McMaster University. Alan is the co-director of multiple films, as well as the author of The Creator's Game. I had the pleasure of first meeting Alan when I was a PhD student, and I've always admired his commitment to public scholarship.
Thank you. I now have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Cora DeBeck from Simon Fraser University. Dr. DeBeck's research addresses the toxic drug crisis, now the leading cause of unnatural death in British Columbia. In collaboration with people with lived expertise in substance use, she leads the At-Risk Youth Study, a first-of-its-kind longitudinal cohort that generates evidence to improve policy and practice. Through cross-sector scientific and community engagement, she advocates for evidence-based drug policy reform as a pathway for harm prevention and health promotion. While Dr. DeBeck and I have not crossed paths until now, I feel honored to have done so today, as I will carry forward the insights I've gained from her transformative approaches to knowledge mobilization and advocacy in my own work with Indigenous communities. Congratulations.
Thank you, Alan. I have the honor and joy of introducing Delphine Nakache, who holds a research chair on migrant protection and international law. She is dedicated to improving protections for the most precarious groups of refugees, temporary migrants, and immigrants. Although I am not a lawyer, we both are passionate about connecting with the communities that we serve and using our research to shape public policies that improve the well-being of equity-deserving groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Cora. I have the pleasure of presenting Dr. Delphine Bouilly, who holds the Canada Research Chair in Bio-Nano-Electronics at Université de Montréal. Delphine est une experte internationalement reconnue des interactions entre molécules et nanomatériaux, dirigeant un laboratoire interdisciplinaire à l'Institut de recherche en immunologie et cancérologie. Although our fields differ greatly, we both rely on rigorous empirical methods to capture and analyze complex phenomena. She, through nanoelectronic sensors probing biological molecules, and high through quantitative and qualitative data examining migration and refugee experiences. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's my great pleasure to introduce Professor Sheena Wilson from the University of Alberta. Professor Wilson is an interdisciplinary humanities scholar whose research critically examines the energy sector, particularly the impact of extractivist paradigms on social justice and the environment. Les travaux de Professeur Wilson remettent en question les discours dominants sur l'énergie et les influences de la culture pétrolière. Il s'appuie sur des principes de féminisme et de décolonisation, tout en mettant en valeur des voix marginalisées et en favorisant des perspectives inclusives. As a material scientist myself, committed to broadening the training of our students in science and engineering through interdisciplinary approach, I find Professor Wilson's work deeply inspiring as it sparks transformative conversations about global challenges and sustainable futures. Professor Wilson perfectly embodies the kind of colleague I was hoping to meet here in the college, a brilliant mind, a different perspective, and a willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue about how we pursue knowledge and how we prepare future generations. Congratulations, Professor Wilson.
Hi, thank you. Merci beaucoup. J'ai le grand plaisir de présenter le professeur Florian Martin-Barito, titulaire de chaire de recherche de l'Université d'Ottawa en technologie et société, and one of Canada's foremost experts on the legal and ethical dimensions of emerging technologies, including AI, blockchain, quantum sciences, and cybersecurity. Internationally recognized for his leadership on technology policy that seeks a more secure and inclusive digital society, his work intersects with my own research on climate adaptation and energy transition, which increasingly rely on AI and blockchain-driven smart technologies. Depending on policy and practice, these can either deepen existing inequalities or help repair social and ecological injustice. Merci beaucoup, Professeur Martin-Barito, pour le travail que vous faites à préparer les Canadiens pour les défis du 21e siècle.
Thank you, Prof. Wilson. J'ai le plaisir de vous présenter le professeur C.N. Siu, one of the foremost experts on palliative care in Canada. He is the Canada Research Chair in Palliative Care and Health System Innovation and a professor of oncology at McMaster University. His research focuses on ways to improve palliative care delivery and the care experience, particularly in the home and community. Dans le cadre de sa recherche, il a développé plusieurs outils, des programmes d'éducation. Il lead un podcast pour justement sensibiliser à la fois les patients et aussi les professionnels de santé à ces enjeux. Et dans le cadre de mes recherches sur le déploiement des systèmes d'IA dans le secteur de santé, je sais à quel point c'est très important de sensibiliser, de faire une littératie de tous les acteurs du système. Donc, je vous remercie et je vous adresse toutes mes félicitations, professeur.
Merci. So, as it was described, I've always been drawn to how systems shape the world and the human experience, and my research is really about systems for people with serious illness. And so the person I'm getting to introduce is also focused on systems, but how they affect energy sustainability. I have the great pleasure to introduce Dr. Sohrab Sendembudi, who is a globally recognized expert in energy sustainability and process system engineering. A professor and research lead at Memorial University, his research focuses on carbon management, hydrogen production, and advanced multi-scale modeling and optimization. I'm married to an engineer. I had to ask her about some of those terms, so I actually understand them. But with over 300 publications and numerous awards, his work addresses critical global challenges of climate change by advancing clean energy technologies, promoting net zero carbon strategies, and fostering innovation in energy engineering. Congratulations.
I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Joe Bowie from the University of Toronto, whose groundbreaking work has advanced our understanding of history, structure, and Milky Way I believe, galaxy. So in my own research on complex energy and environmental processes, I see kind of parallel quests, to model, simulate, and understand intricate transfer phenomena. My pleasure to meet you. Congratulations to meet you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Laura Hugg, who is an associate professor and Canada Research Chair at the University of Waterloo. She explores the vast and often invisible worlds of microbes that shape our environment. Her research reveals how microbial communities adapt to pollution, waste, and climate change. And she's uncovering ways that these organisms can help clean and restore damaged ecosystems. By combining DNA sequencing with lab experiments, her team pieces together who these microbes are, what they do, and how they keep our planet system in balance. Now, even though the scales of astrophysics and microbiology are rather different, I'm struck by just how similar the basic problem is that we're trying to solve. We're trying to piece together how complex interdependent systems evolve and shape our environments, whether they're microbial communities or they're as big as galaxies. We're using observations and data analysis, I think, in a similar way. So I hope we can learn from each other, and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Bovy. J'ai le grand plaisir de vous présenter Dr. Umberto Berardi, célébré pour son développement des matériaux super-isolasants. Dr. Berardi held a Canada Research Chair in Building Science and is currently the president of the International Association of Building and Applied Physics. He works to develop super-insulating materials that guarantee a high thermal resistance at a fraction of the thickness of traditional materials. Now, similarly, you might think that a microbial ecologist and a building engineer don't have much in common, but Dr. Berardi and I overlap directly in the built environment. His new materials are changing the physical composition of the buildings around us, while I study the microorganisms living on those materials. I think it would be fascinating to explore the connected impact of Dr. Berardi's materials and the resulting changes in the built environment microbiome on the human experience of those buildings. Congratulazioni, Dr. Berardi.
So, keeping the same momentum, it is my great pleasure to introduce Stephanie Green to the podium. She comes from the Department of Biological Science of the University of Alberta. I share a lot of things with Stephanie. We both work on mitigating the climate change, but we do it in very different sectors. While I am an engineer and try to solve with new materials, she comes actually from the real attention to the environment. Stephanie Green is an internationally recognized expert in biodiversity conservation. She has been developing a lot of work in the field. She has been actually working on climate change impact on aquifer and freshwater food webs. She has been working in a collaborative way with a lot of international worldwide, on top of working a lot on policymakers, institutional efforts, and a lot of nonprofit organizations. She has been working in over 20 countries worldwide, and she has several other awards, including the Earth Leadership Fellowship and the Sloan Research Fellowship in Ocean Science. Stephanie, thanks so much for joining us.
I have the great pleasure of presenting Dr. Heather Murphy, Canada Research Chair in One Health at the University of Guelph, and also a leading world expert on waterborne disease. La recherche de Professeur Murphy portant précisément sur les qualifications et la réduction de fardeau de maladies d'origine hydrique, et met l'accent sur les populations vulnérables. Together, Dr. Murphy's research and my own span the continuum of water health, from source to sea, and I think illustrating how these integrated systems sustain all life on our planet. Congratulations, Dr. Murphy.
I am pleased to introduce Dr. Nadia Mikurchuk, an award-winning environmental microbiologist from Laurentian University. Her novel research uncovers what I would call the superpowers of microorganisms and their ability to survive in extreme habitats. Ses travaux ont conduit à de nouvelles approches pour utiliser les microbes pour la biorestauration des mines et la récupération des minéraux précieux. Nos deux domaines de recherche sont basés sur la microbiologie. Cependant, elle étudie les bons microbes et moi les microbes dangereux. Her work on microbial communities really resonates with me, and I believe learning from her could strengthen my work on waterborne disease. Congratulations, Nadia.
It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Stephen Ryan, a world-leading expert in algebraic geometry, mathematical physics, and quantum science. Né à Sudbury, ses travaux relient la mathématique à la physique pour faire passer l'informatique à l'échelle quantique. I was struck by our shared connection, Dr. Ryan's family with mining roots in Sudbury and working at the Sudbury Neutrino Observatory in Creighton Mine, where I now work to scale biotechnologies to mine sites. While he scales ideas from the infinitesimal to the quantum, I also scale from micro to larger scales, each transforming complex systems across scales in our fields. Congratulations, Dr. Ryan.
Bonjour tout le monde. I am very thrilled to present Dr. Ansia Irfani, a cosmologist and science policy advocate based at the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics in Waterloo, Ontario. Une chercheuse respectée dans le domaine de l'inflation cosmique et des trous noirs primordiaux, elle est également une fervente défenseuse de la liberté académique et des chercheurs en danger. She was awarded in 2025 the American Association for the Advancement of Sciences Scientific Freedom and Responsibility Award for her work at the crossroads of science, human rights, and diplomacy. I look forward to getting to know you through the college and perhaps working together in some shared scientific pursuits, unraveling some mysteries of the universe, but maybe reweaving them together in the pursuit of open and accessible science. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Estelle. Bonjour à tous et à tous. This is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Lindsay Cahill, who beautifully explores how subtle environmental changes shape the earliest stages of human life. While as a cosmologist, I look outward to understand creation as a cosmic scale, she looks inward to understand creation within us. Dr. Cahill, through her innovation use of the biomedical imaging, studied placental and fetal metabolism and brain development. She has revealed how early exposure leaves lasting imprints on health and disease. Her pioneering work on microplastics and their link to pregnancy outcomes, such as fetal growth restriction, established her as an emerging international leader in this vital and timely field. Please join me to welcome Dr. Lindsay Cahill. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Merle Ballard. Merle Ballard is an Anishinaabe scientist from Lake St. Martin First Nation, a Canada Research Chair in Weaving Indigenous Science and Sustainability Science, and Associate Professor at the University of Calgary. We have shared interests in climate change, the environment, and the importance of community. I can learn a lot from Dr. Ballard, who coined three-eyed seeing, a framework that combines Indigenous science, Western science, and the perspective of our relations, including the waterways and lands. Her research uses Indigenous language as a tool to understand local ecosystems and monitor them through environmental changes, ensuring that Indigenous science informs solution to climate change. Thank you for everything you do.
Good morning. Please allow me to introduce it to you, Olufemi Ayene, who is an internationally renowned surgeon for advancing joint preservation care to increase the lifespan. Dr. Ayene's research has bestowed his patients to enjoy life and the onset of osteoarthritis, which is the most common cause of disability in older adults. I'm going to introduce him in my language as well. Dr. Ayene Mizeke Kendako Thuma King, Bajikchin and Dagwatini, Igaskasikiwete Tewichat, Hewichat, Pemadisiwat, at the minute Madisinet, at the Queenist of Madisinet.
Thank you very much.
J'ai le grand plaisir de vous présenter la Dr. Carmen Logie. Dr. Logie is a Canada Research Chair in Global Health Equity and Social Justice with marginalized populations at the University of Toronto. She is a global leader in HIV research and advancing sexual health equity. Although our fields differ greatly, HIV can cause musculoskeletal complications that I treat surgically. Her work to reduce the global burden of illness through equity and accessibility while empowering knowledge translation is truly commendable, inspiring as well. Félicitations, Dr. Logie.
I have the honor of presenting Dr. Hassan Rivaz, whose groundbreaking research on AI and ultrasound imaging has expanded access to effective diagnosis and interventions. While I am a social scientist, my work on social and environmental drivers of HIV has parallels with his focus on health equity. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Logie, for the kind introduction. I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Angela Roberts. Dr. Roberts, Canada Research Chair in Data Analytics and Digital Health in Cognitive Aging and Dementia, develops AI-driven real-world digital markers to detect and monitor cognitive, physical, and communication changes in Alzheimer's, ALS, and Parkinson's disease using asset-based care models anchored in her work with superagers. Her work complements my research on AI-based quantitative imaging and multimodal biomarkers. J'ai hâte de travailler avec elle pour relier les paroles aux données d'imagerie et mener des études de suivi validées en clinique. Félicitations.
Considered one of the most relevant minds of his generation, Dr. Jonathan Lévernat is an essayist, researcher, and full professor at l'Université Laval. His work on the literary and intellectual history of 19th and 20th century Quebec examines the complex relationship between literature and politics, appealing to both academic and lay audiences. This profound insight into the power of collective narrative inspires me. It offers a framework for my own clinical research, which addresses the challenges of preserving one's voice and identity in the context of aging and dementia. Congratulations, and I very much look forward to continuing to learn from you.
J'ai le plaisir de vous présenter le professeur Frédéric Dejean. Donc, si les églises et lieux de culte ont été au cœur de la vie sociale québécoise, que j'ai étudié avec attention dans mes travaux, force est de constater que leurs rôles ont bien changé, mais demeurent toujours aussi centraux. Mon collègue de l'Université du Québec à Montréal, professeur Dejean, est un spécialiste de ces questions. Professeur au département de sciences des religions de cette institution, il articule ses travaux autour de deux pôles: les dynamiques évangéliques au Québec à travers une analyse des églises urbaines et le zonage religieux dans le contexte des métropoles. Il a notamment co-dirigé Se faire une place dans la cité, la participation des groupes religieux à la vie urbaine, et étudier les christianismes dans un contexte de post-chrétienté. Il est actuellement président de la Société québécoise pour l'étude des religions. Mes félicitations et bienvenue.
J'ai le grand plaisir de vous présenter la professeure Erin Maloney, titulaire de la chaire de recherche du Canada sur la réussite et le bien-être scolaire et professeure agrégée de psychologie à l'Université d'Ottawa. Reconnue internationalement pour ses travaux sur la cognition mathématique, elle conjugue la recherche et la pratique pour améliorer les résultats scolaires des enfants à travers le monde. Legally blind, she advances accessibility and inclusion through innovative initiatives and her leadership in Women in Cognitive Science Canada. Congratulations.
All right. So, je suis très heureuse de vous présenter professeur Jude Kong. Il est la chaire de recherche du Canada en intelligence artificielle axée sur la communauté est en modélisation mathématique à l'Université de Toronto. So Dr. Kong's work uses artificial intelligence and mathematics to build equitable, community-driven solutions to global challenges. He shapes health policy, empowers underrepresented scholars, and drives inclusive, Southern-led scientific collaborations. So while looking up Dr. Kong's work, one of the things that became very apparent to me is while Dr. Kong's work is really far more complex and impressive than my own, we do both share a passion for trying to empower underrepresented scholars and for trying to make STEM more accessible and inclusive, both in Canada and around the world. So congratulations, Dr. Kong.
Thank you very much, Irene. I appreciate it. J'ai l'honneur de vous présenter le professeur Sean Carlton, professeur d'histoire de l'étude autochtone à la Université de Manitoba. As a Canada leading expert on residential colonialism, Professor Carlton's interdisciplinary research examines indigenous settlers' relations and the Indian residential school systems in Canada. His work has been highly impactful, both within and beyond academia, challenging audiences to understand and accept the truth about Canada's colonial past as a necessary part of reconciliation and endeavor that aligns closely with my own commitment to decolonizing global AI governance and empowering communities to co-create equitable futures. Both of us seek to dismantle inherited systems of power and to reimagine knowledge as a shared pathway toward justice, healing, and inclusion. Professor Sean Coleman.
Thank you, Messi. It's my great pleasure to present Dr. Dylan Brown, who is a leader in the field of child and family clinical psychology. Il a publié plus de 600 études évaluées par des pairs qui examinent l'influence qu'ont les déterminants sociaux de la santé sur la dynamique et le bien-être de famille. As a social historian, I appreciate Dr. Brown's focus on the connections between health and the larger social and material context. Congratulations, Dr. Brown.
Thank you. I have the opportunity to present Dr. Amanda Meline, who is an NSERC Tier 2 Canada Research Chair in Primate Genomics and Dietary Ecology, and a Professor of Biological Anthropology at the University of Calgary. Ses travaux adoptent une approche résolument multidisciplinaire pour comprendre les origines évolutives des humains et des primates non-humains. In reviewing Dr. Meline's work, I've been challenged to further consider the emergence of mental health difficulties in children from the perspective of evolutionary theory. Congratulations, Dr. Meline.
Merci beaucoup. I'm delighted to present Dr. Shi Huang. Dr. Huang's outstanding research on brain cancer explores the role of ion channels, which facilitate the movement of sodium, calcium, and potassium, and other molecules across cell membranes. His groundbreaking discoveries have revealed that ion channels play a key role in brain tumor initiation, progression, and metastasis, and the medical treatments he's developing show huge promise for benefiting the many tens of thousands of Canadians currently battling brain cancer. Although I do not study cancerous cells, we share a passion for understanding the molecular mechanisms underlying the pathophysiology of different conditions. And I'm excited to learn more about your research. Merci.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce to you Dr. Xiaonan Liu from McGill University, who's an internationally renowned scientist in studying food safety using the combined power of molecular microbiology, analytical chemistry,
engineering, and math, so truly multidisciplinary work. So I've been thinking really, really hard, what's the best connection between myself and Dr. Liu's work? And I realized the best connection is probably because I've been a really bad food poisoning victim for multiple times, including during a 14-hour international flight. So it's really terrible. So I cannot stress how important your work, cannot stress enough how important your work is. Thank you for doing what you do. Congratulations, Professor Liu.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ila Meyer-Smith. Dr. Ila Meyer-Smith is an international research leader and has made major impacts on Arctic ecosystem science and ecology. She's internationally known for her Arctic greening research as the global expert on tundra vegetation responses to climate change, including the process of shrubrification. Her research is impactful, interdisciplinary, and also inclusive, and she works in collaboration with others to conduct research internationally and within the Canadian North. Congratulations.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce Ji-Guan Hu from the University of Calgary, and I have the pleasure of describing his research to you, which he studies sunlight-driven biomass photorefining for the production of renewable fuels, and I study biomass accumulation because of sunlight in the Arctic. So there's some similarities there. I study the growth of plants under accelerated climate change, and the topic of renewable fuels could be the solution to the types of climate changes that we're seeing in the north. Son travail au sujet de l'énergie, matériaux renouvelables pourrait aider à limiter les impacts du changement climatique que j'observe dans mes recherches arctiques. Félicitations, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Meyer-Smith. So I'm honored to introduce Dr. Finlay McGuire, Assistant Professor at Dalhousie University and Pathogenomic Lead at Toronto's Shared Hospital Lab. His pioneer research in genomic epidemiology and data science has strengthened the global response to infectious diseases and antimicrobial resistance. While my own work uses biotechnology to convert renewable biomass into sustainable energy and material, we share a common goal, harnessing biological information to build a healthier, more resilient world. Thank you. Congratulations.
It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sarah Mashid to the stage. She's a Canada Research Chair at McGill University and a world leader in clinical diagnostics. Dr. Mashid's groundbreaking work on nanobiosensing devices are revolutionizing the way we detect cancers and infectious diseases at the bedside. Through my own pathogen work, I'm deeply familiar with the profound human impact of this vital research in enabling timely, life-saving clinical decision-making. Congratulations and thank you, Dr. Mashid.
Thank you very much. Bonjour tout le monde. It's my pleasure to introduce Professor Matthew Macaulay, Tier 2 Canada researcher in chemical glycoimmunology, and Raymond Lomeo, Chair of Carbohydrate Chemistry. He's an internationally recognized expert in applied science. His research program seeks to understand the biological roles of carbohydrates and how they control immune cells, which has led to important insights into Alzheimer's disease and cancer. Dr. Macaulay's lab innovate tools are being extensively used by research groups worldwide. In my lab, we developed these nanobiosensing devices for fingerprinting biomarkers of disease. And when I went through your work and understanding how it's contribute to important diseases such as Alzheimer's and cancer, I was wondering that maybe by integrating these nanobiosensing tools with the assays developed in your lab,
lab, we could come up with new tools that can, in real-time fashion, fingerprint molecular of immune and disease-related glycosylation patterns that can have a measure impact on precision diagnostics and therapeutics. Thank you again.
Okay, I have the honor to introduce Professor Diana Lewis. Diana Lewis is Mi'kmaq and a member of the Spiknactic First Nation in central Nova Scotia. Professor Lewis holds a Canada Research Chair in Indigenous Environmental Health Governments within the Department of Geography, Environment and Geomatics at the University of Guelph. Dr. Lewis is director of the Indigenera Lab, and her research focuses on promoting understanding of Indigenous worldviews and advocating for Indigenous-led approaches to give communities baseline health data and sovereignty over the data in environmental health decisions. I think, in thinking about where we connect, I think we both have a passion for informing the public. Congratulations.
It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Bantayihu Shifra Chani, adjunct and visiting professor at the Graduate School of Public and International Affairs at the University of Ottawa. Today, we celebrate Dr. Chani for his work to bring attention to the many challenges facing the countries of Sudan, South Sudan, and Ethiopia. Like the work I do, it takes conviction to continue to highlight issues that are important for others to know about Wolalan.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Robin Dawn. Dr. Dawn is a prominent young astrophysicist at the University of Victoria. His pioneering research on exoplanets advances our understanding of planetary origins. Although I'm not an astrophysicist, as a student of political science, my work explores state formation. In that regard, Dr. Dawn's research and mine focus on understanding how complex systems, planets, or polities come into being and evolve. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm honored to introduce Professor Stelios Georgiadis, Director of McMaster University's Ford Center for Child Studies and a leader in autism research. His innovative cohort studies have advanced our understanding of autism symptoms and outcomes and helped implement personalized autism services and supports for families. In my own research on planet formation, I also analyze large observational data sets. And I'm inspired by how his work turns evidence into real-world impacts. Congratulations.
Thank you, merci, ευχαριστώ. I have the pleasure of presenting Dr. Tom Gleason, a hydrologist interested in groundwater sustainability, mega-scale groundwater systems, and fluid flow around geologic structures. He describes his mission as advancing scientific research and engaging with governments and organizations to secure water resources. While my work is in a very different field, I can see the connections between using scientific evidence from multiple disciplines and oftentimes having to go against the flow to secure resources and make a difference in our society. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's always, there's many puns in hydrology and especially groundwater hydrology, so I'm really pleased that one was worked in there. It's just my deep honor to introduce Karina Vernon from University of Toronto at Scarborough. I just met Karina a couple of minutes ago and already sparked a connection in many different ways. Her work, as I've started to learn just recently, has been groundbreaking in bringing new understandings of Black Prairie literatures to light. and making them known in Canada and internationally. And I've really seen how your archival work has transformed how we understand the prairies more in a larger way as well, and how other people see that in Canada and internationally. When I was reflecting on our shared interests, I really saw a commonality between how you work with community and in community, how you have a strong justice and equity lens, and how you are based in place and engaged in place. So it's just a deep honor, and I see your work, and congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. It's my pleasure to introduce my now colleague, Man Zawadi. Dr. Zawadi est professeur agrégé à l'Université McGill et directeur de recherche au Centre de génomique et politique. Internationally recognized for his scholarly contributions in the field of data governance and professional liability, his cross-disciplinary research focuses on the ethico-legal implications of human genomics. Although we contribute to distinct disciplines, we share a deep commitment to the ethical governance of knowledge and to transforming how human data, histories, and stories are collected, interpreted, and shared. Congratulations, Dr. Zawadi.
Thank you very much, Professor Vernon. It is my great pleasure to introduce Professor Bharti Sethi, Canada Research Chair at Trent University, whose arts-informed, community-engaged research has transformed how we understand immigrant and refugee inclusion in Canada. En tant qu'immigrant moi-même, son engagement envers l'équité et la participation communautaire résonne fortement avec mon propre travail sur la gouvernance éthique et inclusive des données en santé et en génomique. Bienvenue à la Société royale du Canada, Professeur Sethi, et toutes nos félicitations. Badhai ho.
Thank you, Dhanyavad. I have the great honor of presenting Dr. Angelique Slade-Shantz. Dr. Shantz is an internationally recognized scholar and a Canada Research Chair in social entrepreneurship that I know absolutely nothing about. She's at the University of Alberta. Dr. Shantz's work aims to gather a deeper understanding of the role of business in addressing some of the world's greatest challenges. Her focus on sustainable economic growth that operates between the ecological boundaries is particularly commendable. When I thought about what, the shared interest that we have or the shared passion that we have, I realized that we have a commitment to mindfully center equity and justice across economic, social, and environmental spheres. I believe that collective responsibility is critical to navigate the uncertainties in Canada and globally, especially now, and work towards a sustainable and inclusive world. Thank you, Dhanyavad, for the important work you do.
Thank you so much. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Bo Wang. Dr. Wang is an assistant professor of medical biophysics at the University of Toronto. He's also the chief artificial intelligence scientist at the University Health Network and holds the Canada CIFAR AI chair at the Vector Institute. Dr. Wang uses machine learning algorithms for solving important problems in computational biology with a particular emphasis on integrative cancer analysis. And while we couldn't be much farther apart in our academic worlds, on a personal level, as someone who has recently lost a father to cancer, I am deeply grateful to Dr. Wang for his important work.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sibario Rouse. Dr. Rouse is a Canada Research Chair in Labor Law and Social Justice at the Peter A. Allard School of Law at the University of British Columbia. His interdisciplinary research agenda includes theoretical conceptualization of the law of work, regulatory exclusion of informal workers, in the Global South, deliberative lawmaking and social justice and sustainable human development. Severio's current research examines non-Eurocentric normative ideas on the relationship between livelihood and sustainability. So now, Severio and I study very different worlds. I spend my time teaching AI to understand human self, while he teaches society to understand human itself. But in the end, we are both decoding complex systems so that they can work more fairly for the people they are meant to serve. Congratulations.
Bonjour tout le monde. Merci beaucoup, Professor Bo-Wong. Are we tired of applauding? We can't be, because the next scholar, the scholar that I'm going to introduce, is quite amazing and very thoughtful. J'ai le plaisir de vous présenter le professeur Sarah Olutola. Professor Olutola लेकहेड यूनिवर्सिटी के अंग्रेजी विभाग में सह प्राध्यापक है। অধ্যাপক অলুটোলার গবেষণা কৃষ্ণাঙ্গ ও সমালোচনামূলক জাতীয় অধ্যয়ন, ব্ল্যাক অ্যান্ড ক্রিটিক্যাল রেস স্টাডিজ, উত্তর ঔপনিবেশিকতাবাদ, পোস্ট কলোনিয়ালিজম, আফ্রিকান এবং প্রবাসী আফ্রিকান সাহিত্য, আফ্রিকান অ্যান্ড আফ্রিকান ডায়াসপোরিক লিটারেচার, জনপ্রিয় মিডিয়া সংস্কৃতি এবং যুব সাহিত্যের, পপুলার মিডিয়া কালচার অ্যান্ড ইউথ লিটারেচারের ওপর আলোকপাত করে। My own work on post-colonialism and law draws significantly on literary critics such as Homi Bhabha and Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak, thereby indicating a point of intellectual convergence between Professor Olutola and my scholarly work. And I do hope to continue to engage with Professor Olutola on some of the fascinating work that she is doing. Very many congratulations, Professor Olutola.
Merci. And hello, everybody. I'm here to introduce Dr. Courtney Mason of Thompson River University. His grassroots scholarship concerning rural and indigenous land use development is helping to shape our understanding of tourism economies and the management of parks and other protected areas. What we learned from Dr. Mason's work is that government policy with respect to land conservation, health programs, rural food, and resource usage must incorporate critical race studies and decolonization, which is important to me in my work, but most especially traditional indigenous ecological knowledge. So congratulations.
Merci beaucoup. Bienvenue tout le monde. Thank you. I now have the pleasure of presenting Dr. Audrey Morse. Audrey, c'est professeur à l'Université McGill. Elle étudie la chimie verte et développe des synthèses et des procédés chimiques plus respectueux de l'environnement et de notre santé. Interestingly, she has developed sustainable methods of manufacturing nanoparticles for green energies and biodegradable bioplastics. Even though it's from a completely different disciplinary perspective than my own, like many of us here, she works on sustainable solutions to complex environmental issues. Her work is relevant for policymakers at various levels and also has practical applications.
So we have one extra domino to go through. It's really my great pleasure to welcome Simon Caron-Huot. Simon Caron-Huot is a theoretical physicist internationally renowned for his contribution to particle physics. A Canada Research Chair, his works aim to eliminate the mathematical laws in which the universe appears to follow at the shortest of distances. Il crée des techniques analytiques utilisées pour décrire les systèmes interagissant fortement, établit de nouvelles symétries des amplitudes de collision et est reconnu pour la formule dite d'inversion qui mesure les exposants critiques de divers systèmes invariants d'échelle. Simon et moi, on partage la passion de regarder l'infiniment grand et l'infiniment petit à travers... Moi, je travaille beaucoup avec des microscopes pour mon travail et donc c'est vraiment un plaisir de t'accueillir au Collège, Simon. Wow. I'm always really impressed when we do this domino thing because there's so much energy in the room, so much excitement. It's really a pleasure to get to know you all and know the important research you do, but also to get to know each other in relations to each other. And I think this is really what this practice does. And I can already see some connections here, which is super exciting. J'aimerais maintenant féliciter tous les nouveaux membres du collège. Cet accomplissement est le fruit de beaucoup de travail. You should be really proud of yourself. Afin de finir la cérémonie, Isabelle et moi, nous avons un message pour 2 membres importants du collège.
Oui, merci Audrey. D'abord, j'aimerais à mon tour féliciter chaleureusement tous les nouveaux membres et toutes les nouvelles membres du collège pour l'importante reconnaissance qu'ils et elles ont reçue aujourd'hui. Vous pouvez vraiment être fiers de vous. So Audrey and I would like also to take a moment, one last time, to acknowledge the outstanding contribution of our colleague Frank Deere, who served as president of the college from 2022 to 2024, and who has provided a tremendous support over the past year as past president. Frank? John. Yeah, sure. You deserve to be in the middle. Thank you very much, Frank, for your outstanding contribution. Among your major achievements, we would like to once again highlight your exceptional leadership in launching the first trilateral partnership among the 3 academies, which led to an international series of summits on Indigenous engagement in the academy. That's a huge achievement. Thank you, Frank. So join me to thank you one last time, Frank Deere, for his wonderful contribution to the college and for everything you've done for us.
It's really a great honor for me now to announce the name of the next president of the College of the New Scholars, Artists, and Scientists of the Royal Society of Canada. Eric Lee, can you come on stage, please? Eric is at the Faculty of Management at UBC Okanagan. Eric has an impressively vast research background spanning social enterprise, social innovation, non-for-profit marketing, sustainability in marketing and consumption, circular economy, and the list goes on. Working in sustainability as well myself, but from the perspective of science, I can't wait to work with you in the coming year, to pass the baton to you next year for your leadership of the College of the Royal Society. The college would be in great hands, and I have no doubt it will continue to thrive under your leadership. Thank you so much, Eric. It is now time to close this ceremony. Once again, we extend our warmest congratulations to the new cohort. We now invite you to continue the celebration and the celebration lunch taking place in the Fortification Ballroom. I will also pass to you some more information about the college. We really want to take advantage of this to tell you this is a wonderful award. It's also a place where you can make a difference and you can contribute, and we hope that you will continue to engage with us so that we can all work together in the future years. Thank you so much.
J'aimerais par le fait même féliciter tout le monde. Donc, merci à tous et à toutes d'être venus parmi nous. Bravo, félicitations à tous les lauréats, à tous les gagnants, en fait, les nouveaux membres du collège. Comme Audrey vient de le mentionner, c'est un immense privilège pour nous de vous accueillir aujourd'hui. Donc, merci énormément.